calling this an escalation. But really, this is just for psychological impact by President Putin. It's trying to deter the West and the backers of Ukraine from continuing to support Ukraine in the way they have done up until now. This is a weapon with very little military utility, and it's not even particularly useful for Russia's secondary aims of killing civilians in Ukraine and destroying their homes. Instead, it's a demonstration, and of course, it's backed up with these threats by Putin that those countries helping Ukraine could find themselves targeted as well in the future. So really how this plays depends on how the West is going to respond to Putin's threats. De-escalation, as ever, would be the most dangerous possible response because it would show to Russia once again that these threats work and encourage more of them in the future. The very last thing that Russia wants is to confront a united NATO. It makes no sense at all to attack a NATO member with weapons, an undeniable armed attack in the sense of the North Atlantic Treaty, while the United States is still committed to that treaty. So that's why the most dangerous thing would be to give Putin a suggestion that actually that treaty might not work and that he can tackle individual countries on their own to deter them. So solidarity in Europe, with or without the United States, and the promise of a unified response to any kind of attack like that by Russia is absolutely vital now. It doesn't appear that the existence of this missile has been previously reported in open sources, but that, of course, doesn't mean that Western intelligence services would have been unaware of its existence. They may simply have not publicized what they had discovered about the development of this missile. But it does also appear that the West was forewarned about this impending attack, because if we consider the closure of Western embassies in Kiev under threat of some new attack, and now the reporting that in fact Russia did warn the West what was going to happen, the use of the missile in itself may not have come as a surprise. The UK and France that have been primarily the targets of these latest Putin threats, talking about Western backers that are providing the capabilities to Ukraine, actually becoming targets themselves. Now, that won't concern the United States because the very last thing that Russia is going to do is pick a fight with the United States. However, the UK and France are more exposed, particularly if there's any doubt at all about whether they would be backed up by their allies, including the US. The challenge that may be facing some countries that are thinking of defending themselves against Russia is the vulnerability that's been demonstrated to that US support, and in particular, whether the United States might seek to constrain them from using US-supplied weapon systems to defend themselves against Russia in the same way as the US has constrained Ukraine.